Well, the Tucker piece that the New Yorker published called I Watched Tucker Carlson for Work, which they interviewed a woman named Kat AbuGhazala.
Yeah.
Who was a 23-year-old senior video producer for liberal watchdog org Media Matters, who's been watching Tucker Carlson for 2 years and making TikToks about it. I mean, that it aligns nicely sort of with discussion of wokeness, because in it this woman describes how she comes from like a long lineage of Republicans.
Yeah, she
went to college
and
became awoken to systemic power structures that now define her worldview
within her family that she now has to universalize on like a national, if not global scale, because she hates her dad. Who's some kind of Republican
but also
lobbyist.
Desperately wants attention from him and is basically begging over the course of the piece for Tucker to pay attention to her.
I think like the Kat Abu Ghraib woman is like the new Lauren Duca. I'm waiting for her lesbian arc.
It says at one point that she sought counsel from Taylor Lorenz, who's also been, you know, the victim of online bullying, while literally like begging for it to happen to her.
Our friendship with New York Magazine and the New York Times has really ended, and now the New Yorker is our best friend.
This is a good part. It's not so much that AbuGhazala is seeking male attention. It's more that she's using herself as live bait, a way to point out misogyny and sexism in real time, or to simply tweak the conservatives who hate follow her.
Yeah, I mean, this is like marginally interesting from a psychological standpoint, because we all know that like spiritual leftists can't bring themselves to enjoy anything that goes against their political consensus unless they introduce like a wedge of ironic or professional distance. No, haha. Don't make me watch Tucker for work. He's so sexy.
No, don't make me watch Tucker Carlson. Get talking points for my reactionary podcast.
And that's also like, by the way, like back to Trump, why when we're between elections, everyone can agree that like Trump is based. But when there's like an electoral cycle happening, suddenly he's like a neo-fascist authoritarian or whatever Marianne Williamson called him on Twitter recently.
Yeah.
Because it has to be this kind of like remote, critical, self-aware thing.
Authoritarian when the government puts you in jail.
Yeah, and it's also marginally relevant because Kat AbuGhazala was recently trending on Twitter for this tweet. Conservatives are now at the, quote, scouring her grandfather's obituary stage of determining whether I'm white enough to jack off to.
Oh, that's that girl.
Yeah, and it includes like a pic of her like popping her pussy in fishnets. Don't flatter yourself, bitch.
A charmless woman.
She's a 9th generation Texan with Palestinian roots whose family has been connected to Republican politics forever. AbuGhazala has been professionally watching Carlson, who has around 3 million viewers a night, for nearly 2 years. AbuGhazala films her roundups on Fridays and posts them to TikTok, where she's building a following. She and I were watching Carlson's show side by side in cubicles at her organization's offices in Washington, D.C. AbuGhazala, a pair of sunglasses perched on her head and a vape pen always within reach, she's just like us, for real, was flagging moments from the episode to post online. You don't know Fox News until you're watching it for a job, she said. You see all these patterns emerge. What I love about like leftoids and libtards is that they can easily spot things like ideological capture and profit motive in their opponents, but they're blind to the ways that they're guilty of the same things. When they do permit that they have the same issues within their ranks, it's always by the logic that they're the good guys and on the right side of history, so it's by any means necessary.
Media Matters.
Yeah.
The levels of like condescension as well, of like these deplorables that are watching Fox News can't pick up on these nuances that a liberal watchdog like myself can, and they don't understand that they couldn't possibly just be gleaning some form of like entertainment from this.
This has earned the left a reputation for being retards among the right, but the resistance is less intellectual than it is psychological.
Yeah. AbuGhazala has sought advice from dealing with trolls from the Washington Post's Taylor Lorenz, another woman who has attracted the ire of many on the right, including Carlson. He hasn't talked about me yet, AbuGhazala said of the Fox News host. There's so much stuff you could pick on me for. Like literally any picture on my Instagram. Full quote. That's the full quote. Do you not want to look at any of pictures of me on Instagram?
No, don't sexualize my
Baba Booey.
Don't look at my Instagram pictures, you right-wing pervs.
But basically her job is collecting publicly available compromise on Tucker Carlson to reinforce her and her audience's confirmation bias. And they say email jobs are fake.
She's a TikToker.
Yeah, she's like a spiritual
She's parlayed her email job into
HR recruiter. There was another great quote. To AbuGhazala, the often ludicrous quality of Carlson's show is exactly what makes it so dangerous. People need to know that the scary things are stupid as well, she said. They either go all in on, oh my God, this is so funny, and Fox News is technically entertainment, or they go all in on, this is so scary, blah, blah, blah. It's both things. Two things can be true at once. No fucking way. At the same time, perhaps because she follows him so closely, AbuGhazala is skeptical of the conventional wisdom that Carlson is one of the most powerful people in the United States. She and the other Media Matters researchers all seemed convinced that it was more the 8 p.m. Fox time slot that bestowed the power. For millions of viewers, quote, it's just a Pavlovian response to put on Fox News at 8 o'clock. Lawrence said Tucker needs the 8 o'clock hour on Fox way more than Fox needs Tucker. Fox has been the country's most watched cable channel for 21 years. That impressive streak belies how few Americans actually watch it. The network averaged 2.33 million viewers a night in 2022, but it remains something of a thought leader for the conservative movement. What a load of cove.
So, I mean, I often catch the end of like Jesse Waters' prime time before Tucker. Gutfeld sucks. Hannity sucks. Jesse Waters, the end of his show is him reading like fake text messages.
Yeah.
Send him.
Tucker is like Fox News' cash cow.
How could you even?
If Fox didn't have Tucker, they'd be MSNBC. Or worse, CNN.
Whatever you think about him, he's good at what he does. Like, don't take that away from the man.
Yeah.
So is it irrelevant or is it
that's
dangerous?
Classic leftist maneuvering. It's like
it's not even actually that popular.
It reminds me of like Russiagate when people were being like, oh, so like Putin's like totally a madman and a psychopath on a path of destruction and chaos, but also like Russians are bungling idiots who can't even hack the election properly, and there's just like all these mixed messages.
But they've
flying.
Compromised the fabric of our democracy through their sinister wiles.
Two things can be true at the same time, but in this case you have to pick one. This is like a logic problem and an IQ test, you stupid bitch.
I mean, I watch Tucker Carlson for work also, and
that's actually our job too. Why hasn't Media Matters recruited you, Dasha?
I know I'm watching Tucker. I'm watching the end of Jesse Waters. Sometimes I watch a little Hannity. I don't even have the attention span for Tucker post monologue usually. Then he like veers off. He's talking to some like meth head.
Don't do Glenn Greenwald like that. He's our friend.
No, like most of Tucker isn't even that good, and he often
it's unwatchable.
He often is a totally like bad faith moron.
Like he like cigarettes now.
Himself. Yeah, but it's
Tucker's a smoker, right?
He's into snooze or whatever it's called. It's gross.
So okay. In January, Phil LeBond, a right-wing influencer, posted Kat AbuGhazala's Tinder profile to Twitter, and she clapped back with a visual of the demeaning sexually explicit comments that the tweet elicited and posted it to her feed. POV, you're a 23-year-old woman who researches right-wing extremism, and a 47-year-old conservative commentator posts your dating profile on Twitter. Did she get the POV meme?
Women
I can't tell.
Understand. Zoomers have had an issue with the concept of POV, I've noticed. Through the trickle down content I get from TikTok is that they don't quite understand what it means.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up for changing what that that means completely.
POV. I'm pulling my hair out like a weird neurotic parent who went to Swiss boarding school.
POV. Tucker Carlson won't get his boot off my neck. POV. Tucker reminds me of my dad.
The point of the article is that she's not at all using her sexuality to rage bait conservatives into calling her a roasty on Twitter.
I guess it's working out.
I can't believe you can get paid for being
Watching
mentally
Tucker?
ill. No, I actually can believe that.
What do you think we get paid for?
The radical left has turned America into a welfare state. But I was going to say, I want to get paid for being mentally ill. And then I realized we literally do.
We straight up do.
Being a woman rules.
It's really awesome.
You can literally get away with anything.
The right-wing guys are right. We are living life on easy mode. Except, what does Palia say about getting your period? She says, like, every month, like, women's will is thwarted. And it's true.
Women actually do
We're just
get
routinely
the POV
debilitated.
meme because we're all autogynophiles.
So we're always looking
So our
at
POV is literally just staring at ourselves in the mirror.
POV, I'm beautiful. POV, everyone is so sexually attracted to me.
POV, I look like Anne Hathaway at Sundance Film Festival.
God bless women. Thank God they're doing their thing.
But as usual, women are on a whole nother level when it comes to an instinctual, intuitive understanding. She's drawn to the mirror image of herself, which looks slightly better than the reality. Because you know when you flip the selfie and you're like,
yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
And so actually we do get the POV meme, but whatever. Anyway.
We've actually mastered it, yeah.
I appreciate how she really made it about herself. I saw that picture of her trending, and
I didn't connect those two were really. I thought she was right wing.
The friend of the pod, Second City bureaucrat, got caught in the crossfire because he made some like snide racial remark about what her aristocratic pedigree is, and she interpreted it as him trying to like intellectually finger fuck her.
Yeah. It really is crazy to me how Tucker is beyond the pale for like establishment libs.
Mm-hmm.
How that's extremist programming to them.
In a weird way, it's like affirmation of the fact that culture functions way better when there are like agreed upon taboos, because they just make people so pruriently like voyeuristically fascinated and enthusiastic. Like liberals are chomping at the bit to watch Tucker.
The last quote from her is also quite telling. She says, "The anger propels you. I feel like I'm doing something in a world where it's so easy to feel like you're not doing anything." I want to like mix all those words up. It's so easy to feel like you're doing something in a world where you're not doing anything. By whipping yourself up into a frenzy.
Yeah, like those refrigerator magnets that women also love.